Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Not entirely sure why my talking and my mouth isn't in sync, but maybe that will be sorted out later on. In any event, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening I would like to go through finally the answers to the linguistic quiz at the end of the year. If you didn't try it yet, now's your last chance to go and try it before you listen to the answers. Trying to keep the spoilers off of the quiz itself and put the answers in a separate video, which is this video. And we're going to structure it around a very good response video by our very good friend on this channel, Mr. Ken Bank, who made a very fine response video, and I'm going to use it with his permission as the basis for this video. I checked about 17 sets of answers, of which the best result was 8. 2 people got 8, nobody got the full set of answers. I told Ken at first on his version that he got 5, in fact he got 6, so sorry about that, Ken. You did in fact get 6. We will find your reasons for your answers in a minute are very, very well presented, and we will look at what we agree with and what we don't agree with. So it will be interesting, I hope, for you and for all the other viewers as well. They certainly, I believe, will find it of interest to listen to what you have to say, and also to see this. You will only hear Ken's voice on this to see his face talking about it, and to see the links you have to go to his channel, which is Ken Bank, Kenbank. If you change that channel, you put it after the front slash at the end of youtube.com, you will see this video from Ken and other fantastic videos that he has provided to the YouTube viewing public. So, without further ado,
greetings, Professor Kunigama.
Greetings, Ken.
Your student of Russian language, Ken Bank, making a video response to your video linguistics quiz. Now, I published my best guess, and you said that I'm 5 right.
It's 6.
I thought perhaps I had gotten 8 right.
No, you got 6.
So much for that. So, let us dispense with the Russian accent for now.
Okay, not sure I can do this, but I try to speak some American.
Okay. Question number 1.
Right.
What is the highest number of strokes in a Kanji character used in modern Japanese? Well, I really wasn't able to find a whole lot of information about that on the internet. Apparently, 33 stroke characters are the largest kanji unit that computers can recognize. However, larger stroke characters, stroke counts are known for the Chinese characters upon which the kanji is based. I'll put my reference right here.
Okay.
Question number 2.
This is the biggest one in common use.
What is the number of cases in
Okay, let me just stop that.
Greek,
Stop. Okay. The one that you gave, Ken, this is why I don't agree with you, is not from common use. So it's a different question you ask. You ask how possible is to get kanji complicated, and you gave a different answer because you answered the question which I didn't ask. I asked what is in common use, and this here, this book, it's got the 1945. It's actually quite a significant number of kanji signs that the Ministry of Education has stated is the basic signs that everybody have to know. All the other kanjis which are beyond this must be glossed by law with hiragana gloss above, so that people can see how they pronounced and have an idea of what it means. That in that 1945 basic in everyday use kanjis, the largest of all has 23 strokes. It is this number 1777 here, and it is meaning like a mirror or a pattern or an example, and it's the one that I just showed here. Probably can't see it too well, but it's got 23. Anyway, that's the biggest. So I don't doubt you can get up to 33 in the non-common use ones, but that wasn't what I said in the question, I think. So that's why you didn't get it right. Sorry, but can't let you have that one. Let's go on. Question 2.
Well, modern Greek is comprised of the nominative, accusative, genitive, and vocative cases. Ancient Greek contained those cases plus the additional dative case. My source on that is Wikipedia, and so that would make it selection A. Question number 3.
Okay, you got that right.
Rank these languages by the combined GDP of the speakers in descending order. I chose D, based on the IMF ratings as of 2006, which rates Japan as number 2, Germany number 3, and the People's Republic of China as number 4 in GDP worldwide. United States is still number 1. The European Union
Oh, I'm not getting very good.
But since it's a consortium of countries, it's not given a ranking. And I again will put my link there. It's Wikipedia. You can look it up. Question number.
Okay. Before we get on to that, you were actually the only person to get this right. On question 3, D was only said by you. Everybody else goes C or a few B's. The reason for this is that they are not using the correct, in my opinion, sources. Let me just explain what source should be used. Either the source that you gave is probably okay, but also what I've been using is this Time Almanac. If you use Time Almanac, then I suppose you get, let me see if I can find I don't really have that much by way of to show it, but in any event I will put in the picture which shows the what it is. Yes, the reason why people that were getting China too high, putting China in second place, they've been using probably this document or something similar, which is putting China and Taiwan, if you put them together, they're going in second place with Germany in third place. The Chinese speaking world will beat the German speaking world in absolute economy. By the way, purchasing power parity I took away completely from the question. This is all very well to use something like this as your basis, but unlike this, which is based on reported figures, this one here, if you used it, is based on projections, and it is anybody's guess. And I didn't ask the question what is likely to happen in 2008, what might happen, etc, etc, etc. The economists like to guess what's going to happen, and I didn't ask what's going to happen in the middle of 2008. I asked the question, what is, according to reported figures. You have to use reported figures, and probably as we speak Chinese-speaking world is overtaking German-speaking world, but I didn't ask about speculation. I asked about fact. And so we have the answer D, which you got, Ken, and you were the only person to get that one correct. Everybody else seemed to think that China is more important in statistics, maybe getting ahead on themselves a little bit, because we still don't know for sure exactly where we are with the Chinese economy, and the true figures will be reported probably later on. Okay. So, let's look at the next question. If I can find your video again.
4. Which of the following languages is usually written in non-Latin-based script? Albanian, Armenian, Malay, or Malaysian, and Tagalog. Well, I chose B, Armenian, because Armenian script is based on the Greek alphabet. All the others use a Latin alphabet derived from the Latin alphabet. Question number 5.
Correct.
What was the name of the place where, according to the book of Genesis, linguistic diversity began among mankind? That would be Babel, selection D. Babel has a distinction of being one of the first cities built by men after the floodwater receded in Noah's day. Babel was where the tongues of men were, quote, confounded, unquote, by God, as a punishment for their egocentric arrogance. Reference for that is Genesis 11, verses 1 through 9. Also, as a means of encouraging humans to settle across the whole world by preventing them from remaining in a single linguistically homogeneous group, and to forestall for a time the creation of a single world government, which is apparently an abomination in his sight.
Exactly.
Question
Very
number
good.
6.
Extremely good.
Which of the following fairy tale writers was also a leading expert in historical linguistics? Well, the question, Aesop, La Fontaine, and by La Fontaine, I assume Jean de La Fontaine, and Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen. I chose C, the Brothers Grimm. Specifically, Jacob Grimm, one of the two brothers, Jacob and Johann. Jacob did concentrate his studies in linguistics. His brother was primarily a literary scholar. Both of them worked together and on various works, and also separately made significant contributions to their particular fields. They achieved fame after publishing their collected folk tales, the Kinder und Hausmärchen, in 1812. In 1840, they began working on the Deutsches Wörterbuch, the definitive guide to the German language. The work was not completed until the 1960s. Jacob, I believe, lasted until the letter D, and Wilhelm survived until the letter F. As for the others, Aesop was a Greek slave. Hans Christian Andersen was a writer-novelist. La Fontaine, Jean de La Fontaine, author of the famous Book of Fables, lived in France during the 17th century and was a writer, playwright, and poet. Q7. Which of the following fantasy writers was/is also a scholar in medieval languages? Our choices were H.G. Wells.
So you got everything right
J.
except
Rowling,
for the
Ray
question
Bradbury,
1 for so far.
and Tolkien, assumedly J.R.R. Tolkien. My answer, D, J.R.R. Tolkien. He
Yep.
was an
Tolkien, but
Oxford
other than that,
professor
fine.
of the Anglo-Saxon language from 1925 until 1945. If Anglo-Saxon ain't medieval language, I don't know what is. For the others,
Probably you enjoyed the film Beowulf.
H.G. Wells was a novelist,
Grandless
historian,
motor.
and journalist. His foray into the things historical was punctuated by the publishing of his critically acclaimed work, Outline of History, in 1920, which received much critical acclaim and is still in print today. I think I even have a copy of it.
I got the brief
J.K.
history
Rowling
of the
read
world,
for a
which
Bachelor
is shorter than
of
that.
Arts degree in French and the classics at the University of Exeter. After studying in France for a year, she took a job in London as a researcher and a bilingual secretary. She didn't start writing the famous series, Hogwarts series, until later.
She was poor. Then she
Grace
got
Bradbury
very, very
graduated
rich.
from Los Angeles High School in 1938 and chose not to attend college. However, as an avid reader and writer since his early youth, he continued his own education at the public library. Inspired by science fiction,
They didn't have
he began
internet
publishing
in those
stories
days.
in fanzines, and by the end of 1942, he was a full-time writer. Question 8.
So
Which
you
of the
got it
following
right,
word
Tom.
trios in English do not all share a common root? In my opinion, there are two possible answers for this, A or D. The words creative and
Well, you
recreation
wrote D.
both stem from the same word, create. However, cretin stems from the word Christian, which has no relation to create. Cretin is from the Franco-Provençal word cretin, crestin, which means human being, literally Christian. One who is human despite deformity. It has to do with a condition called cretinism, which was noted among the people of some remote alpine valleys who evidently had a little bit too much interbreeding. Recreation is refreshment or curing of a person. Refreshment by eating, from the Old French, recreation, 13th century. From the Latin recreationem, recovery from illness. It's the past particle, it's from the recreatus, past particle of recreare, to refresh, restore. So creative and recreation both stem from that creation word. Cretin does not. Possible answer A. Cordial,
Okay, wait a minute,
hearty,
wait
and
a
cardiac
minute.
all come from words that mean the heart or refer to the heart. So they are all of the same root. Monitor, admonition, and Monica, being a given name, Monica, are all stem from the word monere in Latin, which means to warn or to advise. Admonish is where admonition comes from, and it's sort of a variation of to give advice.
You are correct.
Monica is a given name that means either advice or advisor. Again, from the Latin moneo, and it is. But one source that I looked at said that it was possibly of an unknown African or Phoenician origin. So those three are all the same.
I think it is.
Hello,
hello.
whole, and hail.
Hello.
Hello is an alteration of the word hallow, which itself is an alteration of the obsolete hola or stop, perhaps from Old French hola, ho plus la, meaning there, from the Latin illec, that way. Equivalent to ahoy. Whole.
Yes, I think
hail.
you've missed the fact that the first part of the word still refers to the same wholeness
Complete in the sense of
and
wholeness,
sanctity.
being complete, unharmed, comes from the
You
same
got a
root
bit
as
bogged down
hail,
in the
which
second
means
part of the word, the
healthy
ending,
or
which is not the
whole.
important part.
Hail actually means whole in the sense of health, wholeness. So,
So
two
that's
possible
hello.
answers for that question are A
Yes,
and
A,
D.
not D. D is not possible.
Question 9.
Hello
This
does
is-
not mean
This is a tough one.
there.
Which of the
It
following
means
statements
be
about Russian is
healthy.
not
Wes
true?
Hall,
A,
it was
every
in
word needs to
Anglo-Saxon.
contain at least one vowel. B, the stress is always the same syllable in a noun, regardless of the conjugation. C, more than 3 consonants cannot be found side by side in a Russian word without a vowel breaking them up. D, there is a vocative case in Russian, but only a few words get defined with it. I know that D is false, because there is no vocative case in Russian.
But that's a problem, there
I
is
know
one.
that A is false, because there are many words that contain only consonants. Prepositional words such as
A is false, that's right.
in, with, to, those are single consonants like the, which would be in, s, which is with, and k, which is to.
Correct.
So that leaves just C and A as possibilities of being
No, because D is correct.
definitely C
There
and
is
A
a
are out.
vocative case.
So B and C, I have not seen a Russian word that I can recall in memory with more than 3 consonants in a go.
Отстрел is a good example. Shooting
word
off.
For
To
inspiration.
culling. Отстрелять.
No, that's not the word. The word for moment, like a fleeting moment. I think it's from Pushkin's poem. It's Mgnovenie. That has 3 consonants in it. The M, the G, and the N. Mgnovenie.
There's several with 4 consonants in
But there are
0.
other instances where there's more than double consonants are common. In Russian, Vdохновение, the D and the D sound in front. It's pretty common. Anyway, I don't know about more than 3, so that's a guess. Could be C, it could be B, but I think it's most likely C because I think the stress has to move depending on gender and when a noun is clenched.
Declined.
In the various cases and regarding spelling rules, I think that the stress does change occasionally. So I'm going to have to go with C as a total guess.
Yeah.
And question 10.
You had A in it
No clue
before.
about Arabic. My
But the answer
stereotypical
was
guesses would be
D for question 9.
let me tell you, the selections are A. Arabic uses substantially the same alphabet today as at the time of the writing of the Quran. This is true in the sense that classical Arabic, which is the Arabic script that the Quran is written in, is still considered to be the official Arabic. However, it is not the Arabic that is written by the average people every day. They use a simplified rather different kinds of text. There are 2 or 3 different kinds of texts, or scripts, I should say, that they use. Arabic being a cursive language, unlike Roman or Russian, where you have a block lettering. There is no block lettering in Arabic. It's all cursive. Arabic alphabet contains no vowels, but vowels can be added as diacritical marks above or below the line. That is also a true statement.
What about
There
Alif?
are only 3
That is a
vowels
vowel.
in Arabic that I've learned. Only 3 different vowels.
Wow. Yeah.
So they are not written. Typically, they are indicated with diacritical marks
No.
above or below the line.
Those 3 vowels are written, and
Are-
the rest are diacritics. So it's not a
The,
true statement.
C, which is, there are many ways to form plurals of nouns in Arabic, so the beginner needs to learn the plural form of each new noun he or she learns. Got no clue about that one. That's total. I didn't find anything about plurals. D. Arabic is quite closely related to Hebrew. About 4,000 years ago, they were the same language. That, I think, is wrong.
It's true.
They may share some roots in the proto... what's the word? Proto-Semitic languages of perhaps Ur and pre-Mesopotamian civilization way back. I mean, talking about prior to Abraham's day.
How could that be when they both come from
However,
Abraham? They
the
say they both come from
Arabic language grew
Abraham.
out of a
Did
fusion
Abraham
of,
have two languages in his house? It's impossible, isn't it? They say themselves they come from Abraham, from Ishmael.
research, but it was not basically out of the same root. Although maybe out of the same basic trunk.
If you could
not-
prove that,
they
you
were not
could
ever
disprove the
same
whole of
language.
Islam. What
And
you're
this
just
would
saying
stand to
now.
reason, since ever since the beginning of time, the Hebrews have stood apart from the rest of the nations.
Not from the beginning of time. From the day of Ishmael. So,
That was it. So, in my opinion, number D is the one that is false.
well, in fact it's B, no vowels.
Okay.
So,
I posted a list up there, and it was like I only got 5 right. So
6 you got.
happy New Year, everybody. See you later.
Okay, don't be sad, because 6 out of 10 ain't bad. In this quiz, it's not too bad. Anyway, I think I explained now the answers. So just going through again, the answers are B, A, D, B, D, C, D, A, D, B. The hardest question seemed to be the question about the economies, and only Ken got this right. The easiest question seemed to be question 6, which almost everybody got correct. So, but thank you very much for taking part, and maybe in the future, near future, I will do another quiz to keep everybody interested in this procedure, perhaps with a prize next time, but only if somebody is getting the whole 10 marks before the answers go up. Okay, thank you very much and good night.